think I'm trying to get on. Okay, there it is. All righty. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. And welcome back to day 2. So I guess I'm just going to say classes in session day 2. Um, Thank you all for tuning in that tuned in yesterday. Thank you for that. Welcome to those who will tune in today. If not, let me know that you caught the replay. Day 2. So yesterday we talked about doing something different in order to start your healing process, to stop getting the same results that you've always been getting because you've been doing the same thing over and over and over. So today I want to talk about, give you 5 steps, action steps to take to do something different. So if you want to do something different and you don't know how to get started, like, do I just up and do it? How do I do it? Now you can just up and do it. I am a stickler for doing everything. I plan everything, which most of the time it doesn't work out, but I still like to write things down and plan. Okay. So I'm going to give you 5 tips to get your life back on track when you have fallen off, when you have done everything, when you are continuing to do the same thing and you need something different. It is time to get your life back on track. And I'm going to help you do that today with these 5 tips that you can do on your own to get your life back on track after you have fallen off a little bit, because we all have. Remember, we all have made mistakes. That's why some of us are in our healing process, because there's some things that we are grieving the loss, not just of a loved one, but grieving the loss of ourselves during the processes when we have committed to people, jobs, and situations that put us in a situation to detour in life, where we had to actually say to ourselves, this was the wrong thing to do. These were the wrong people to be around. This is the wrong person job I had. You know what I'm saying? So you've been stuck doing the same thing over and over out of guilt, out of the fact that you are too afraid to do anything else, or because you're comfortable doing the same thing. Then we just get stuck in this rut. So yesterday I told you to do something different. Today, I'm going to give you 5 tips to be able to do something different and get your life started back on the right track so that you can start your healing process, so that you can decide how you want to continue your life after you get yourself together. Don't be upset when you make wrong turns. Don't be upset when things don't go as planned. Don't get upset if things fall through, if you're rejected, if the job doesn't come through, if your business idea flops. You have got to be okay with being able to start again. Remember, do something different, okay? Maybe the way you did it, the rollout you didn't work. If nobody is buying your book, maybe you need to remarket your book. There are several things you can do to restart again, but don't be upset with yourself, because, most of the time we feel like, especially if you're over 40, we feel like it's too late to start again. That's a lie. That's just a myth that somebody, matter of fact, I don't even know who told you that it was too late. My husband likes to run around here and says, say the same thing. We're getting older. Yeah, we're going to get older any goddamn way, but it's still not too late to do what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? We still have breath in our body. We still are capable of walking and not wheelchair bound or anything like that. So we are getting up every morning. We're still strong enough to get up every morning and try again. We made the move out here to Texas, and constantly, like I told you yesterday, he says that this was a stupid mistake. I should have made this mistake. It wasn't. Like I told him, the mistake is done. Okay, the mistake is done. We're over it now, so we're here. So then you just start from where you're at. Okay. Yes, there were a lot of ways that he went about making this decision to move here that was not, well put together, but doesn't mean he needs to continue to beat himself up about that. Okay. And so if you are in the process right now of doing the same thing over and over again, getting no new results, but you don't know how to start doing something different, you don't know how to implement what you need to be implementing, then I'm going to give you these 5 tips to get yourself started, to get your life back on track. Number 1, we're going to have to be honest with ourselves. You got to have to be honest with yourself. You're going to have to admit, you don't have to particularly say, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I made a mistake, this is wrong. You don't have to do things like that, okay? You can be honest with yourself and say, you know what? I didn't think this through. You have to be honest with yourself and say, you know what? This person that I married might have not been the person that I married. This person that I've spent 4 or 5 years with, that I've wasted my time with, this is probably not the person that I should have wasted my time with. It is okay to be honest with yourself. You have to take full responsibility for your actions. You can't say, well, I made this mistake because you, or I made this mistake because my job, or I made this mistake because my neighbor. No, you have to take full responsibility for your actions, for your life, okay? In the first week in my coaching program, is the first thing I talk about is accountability. All right. I had to be accountable for all of the things that happened in my life. Okay. I used to blame my childhood. I used to blame, the parents that I had. I used to blame the lessons that I didn't know, the things that I wasn't taught as a child. Those do contribute to it. But as you get older, if you're still doing those same exact things, it's on you. It's no longer on your parents. It's no longer on your childhood. It is on you. So if you're making mistakes right now and as an adult, these are your problems, not nobody else's. This is not how you were brought up. Well, you were brought up that way in that mindset, technically, but you don't have to continue that way. So you have to be honest with yourself. Did I buy a car and I messed up my credit? Okay. Did I open up too many credit cards? Now my credit is kind of shot. I can't buy a house. You have to be 100% honest with yourself. And this is the hardest part about healing, is because we do not like to take responsibility. This is the hardest part about healing, because we want to believe that it's somebody else's fault while we're in the rut that we're in. If you took out 4, 5, 6, 7 different credit cards and your credit is shot right now, it is not the lender's fault. It is not the clothing store's fault. It is your fault. Okay. So if you need to get yourself back on track and do something different, like paying down the debt, not opening up credit cards, using cash instead of credit cards. There are so many things you can do to get out of debt, especially now that we have so many different programs out there to help people to get out of debt. But you have to be honest that this is what you were doing. I had to be honest when it came to spending, because I was walking around spending myself and not saving for a rainy day. I can completely, admit that, because it was my upbringing. I wasn't taught, have a rainy day fund. That wasn't something that was taught to me. I always was taught that, hey, whatever you can get, while you can got the money, go ahead and buy it. I knew nothing about saving. I knew nothing about that stuff. But when it continued into my adulthood, then this was no longer my upbringing. This was my fault. This was my personal use. This was my personal thing. This was something that I did. Okay. So be honest with yourself. If you're in a relationship that you've been into too long, that you've wasted so much time on, and you're not going anywhere with the relationship, nobody is marrying you right now. You are married to this person, but these people are continuously disrespecting you. You have to be honest with yourself and say, you know what? I'm falling behind because I'm in the wrong relationship. I'm falling behind because I'm in the wrong job. Maybe you took a job because you needed to pay that debt off, and so you had to take that job, but now you're miserable. Be honest with yourself, okay? In order to get back on track, if you want to try something different, the first thing you need to do is be honest with yourself. Number 2, plan an exit strategy. How are you going to get out of debt? How are you going to be able to find a new job? How are you going to be able to get out of that relationship? Have a strategy, okay? You have admitted that you were on the wrong path. So now you need to decide, how are you going to do something different? What is your strategy? Are you going to now start using cash instead of credit cards? Are you now going to not buy anything right now and keep the same car you've had? Even because sometimes we out here buying cars and we just upgrade them because. Are you not going to take that nail appointment where, I remember for a whole year and some change that I didn't go to the nail place, and was because I didn't really have the money to not go to the nail place. But I also knew that I needed to save some more money and I needed some money back in my account. And this is why I was falling behind, because that $100 and something add up every 2 weeks. When I moved out here to Texas, eyelashes off the top cost $100 and some change. So I think for like 2 months before I went back to South Carolina a couple of weeks ago, I didn't get any eyelashes. I was just like, I'm not even going to wear eyelashes. But what I did? I planned a strategy, an exit strategy to get out of my wanting to spend that type of money so that I won't continue to be in debt. Was I learned how to put on magnetic eyelashes. Okay, they look the same, they cost less. All right. I think I spent $10.99 for like 4 pairs and the little glue that comes with it. You would not have known that I had these eyelashes on. Now, this was my strategy of trying to save money to get myself where I need to be. Okay. There are some things I wanted to do, and $100 and something and $70 every 2 weeks was not going to work for me. Okay. It just wasn't going to work for me. Eventually, when I get to the point where I'm back where I need to be, then that might work out for me. But for right now, I was honest with myself, that I needed to calm down on the eyelashes, and there were some other things that I could do. So what is your exit strategy? Are you in a relationship where you need to get out of? What is your exit strategy to get out of this relationship? You're going to have to do something different. You can't stay there for the rest of your life because you're comfortable, because it once made you happy. Same thing with your job. Plan an exit strategy. Maybe you have to plan that if I took a job that was less money, how will this affect my lifestyle? How will this affect my children? That is something to think about. Maybe you're going to have to cut back on some things to get out of that job so that you can say, I'm not stressed anymore. I'm not crying every day. I'm not tired, bawling my eyes out because I'm in this stressful job because it makes money. You got to plan a strategy to get out of whatever you have dug yourself into. It is your responsibility, nobody else's. You're going to have to do something different. Number 3, be gentle with yourself during this time. It is okay for you to have those moments where you feel like you have screwed up. We have all been there. There are days too that I sit and I look back over some things and I'm like, come on, man, you could have done better. There are times when I do that, but I also do not stay in that way or that morning of what I lost before. Okay. There are times when I say to myself, okay, you did this. I'm honest about it. Now, how do we do this? How do I get myself out of this? All right. Because if you stay, in that pity party for so long, then you're going to stay there and you're never going to be able to get yourself out of your debt. You're never going to be able to get yourself out of a relationship or a job because you're going to have no energy to think about your exit strategy. Okay. So be gentle with yourself. You can say things like, I didn't know then, but I know now. You can say to yourself things like, I'm learning, because life is about learning. You're never seen. That's the one thing I had to get out of my head, that it is okay for me to start learning at 45. Just because somebody else has learned it before you and has learned it doesn't mean that they know everything. Doesn't mean that they have one up on you. It just means they did what they needed to do. They learned a little bit faster than you, and kudos to them. But don't compare yourself to somebody else. Don't sit around and look at somebody else. Well, they're living the life that you wanted because you messed up. That's not how we're going to be. Be gentle with yourself. You're not the only person that has made mistakes, but you have also got to get around people who will cheer you on. People who will be positive with you. People who will lift you up when you're not feeling well, when things are not working for you. Someone that's going to go to church with you. Someone that's going to sit on the phone and pray with you or let you vent to them. Surround yourself around positive people so that you can do the best you can every single solitary day. All right. Be gentle with yourself. Stop the negative self-talk. We have all done things that we have no business doing. We have all made mistakes. You are not special because you are not alone, because we have all been there. All right. Number 4, look for the lesson when you fall off track. Look for the lesson in it. You know, what lesson are you learning now that you didn't learn back then? And that's what I like about everything that I'm going through right now. I'm learning so much more about myself. I'm learning so much more about what for a long time, some of the things that I'm learning now, I didn't think I was capable of learning. I also didn't know that I needed to learn that stuff, So I'm looking for all of the different lessons, and y'all have to excuse the little noise. It's not my battery, it's my alarm thingy, and I'm sitting where my arm is gonna make it go off. So I don't know why it's doing that either way. I'm not that tall. Anyway, the lessons, every morning I always ask God, what lesson are you trying to show me from this? I ask him every morning when I'm during my waiting season right now. I'm asking God, what lesson am I supposed to get out of this? So if you are in debt, your lesson is to learn how to save money, to learn how to manage your money, to learn how to be a better person when it comes to handling funds, right? That is the lesson. If you are in a crappy relationship and you finally get out of that relationship, now you're learning how to set boundaries. Okay, that is the lesson that you're learning right now, how to set boundaries. The lesson of how not to let people walk all over me and treat me bad anymore. How to now speak up for yourself. Those are the lessons that you're learning during your healing process when you're trying to get your life back on track. You're trying something different. These are things that you didn't know before. Now you do. So look for the lessons in in everything that you have going on, because trust me, there is one. There's always a lesson behind everything that's going on. Number 5, do better next time. Period. Because once you learn the lesson, you now know what the hell you need to do. And that goes for me as well. I now know that I have the opportunity to do better now. I now know that, okay, remember what I just told you about the eyelash situation. I know good and well that $120-something for eyelashes plus $70 every 2 weeks. 2 weeks was not achievable for me. Yes, I do have a husband that would, would tell me, say, hey, yeah, you can get them, blah, 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 blah. No. First off, we're in a new house, where we're in a new place. We want to buy another house. How am I going to help buy a house, or how are we going to help do things together if I'm out there spending frivolously on eyelashes? So the lesson was, learn how to put the lashes on yourself, learn how to do these things, because it wasn't hard. I mean, remember, the things that we're learning how to do, we can learn on YouTube now. We didn't know how to do these things back then, but now we have so many resources where we can take advantage of. So when you know better, you do better. So if you know that you're in a relationship, now you know the red flags to look for. Okay. So if you see somebody that you're liking, but you're calling the most, you're spending the most time, you're spending the most money, you now know those are red flags. You now know that. When picking out your job, you now know what type of boss that you don't want to work underneath. You don't want anybody stressing you out. You now know, so you are going to do better this time around in your life because you know better. You've seen the lessons, you've learned the lessons, now it's time to do better. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that I've fallen off a little bit. I've been doing the same thing over and over and over. Now it's time for me to try something different. And doing better the next time around is one of those things that you need to do. It is okay to admit, I've fallen off a little bit. My life is in shambles. I'm not where I need to be. I need to regroup. I need to plan an exit strategy from my old ways of thinking, from my old ways of life, and start again. It is okay to do that. I think we get the misconception again that we're either too old or that these things, we're embarrassed that we should have, we always figure we should have learned this a long time ago. Well, some of us take longer than others. And guess what? Stop letting people who have done what they needed to do spoil your little sunshine, your little life. Because guess what? It's okay. Clap for them. But also clap for yourself for now knowing. It is okay to learn now. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I commend anybody who didn't have, who had parents that put them on the right track from the beginning. I commend anybody who learned faster than I did. I commend anybody who is making 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 figures in their businesses right now because they started their businesses this way. I commend all of those people. Do not look down on yourself because somebody else is where they need to be and you haven't gotten there yet. Our lives fall off track. Sometimes we have to take a detour, and it's okay. I would rather now have my life fall apart right now than when I'm 70, 80 years old and I might have no more time. At least right now, you can get right back on the right track. There's nothing stopping you but your pride. There's nothing getting in your way. You could do something different this week, and you can put these 5 steps into action starting today. You can do this. There's nothing to be ashamed of. If you're going to start healing and feeling better and start your personal growth journey, then you're going to have to do something different this week. And here are the 5 tips that will get you on the right track. 1, be honest with yourself. 2, plan an exit strategy. 3, be gentle with yourself. 4, look for the lessons in everything that you're trying to do. And 5, do better the next time. Okay? Do better the next time. Because we all have second chances. We get as many chances as we get every single day that we wake up breathing. We get to do these things again. There's nothing to be ashamed of. So if you're looking for help doing that, do not be embarrassed to reach out to somebody. If you need a credit repair person, get you a credit repair person. If you need business counseling, get you a business mentor. If you need help finding a job, there are different places in your area that have like workforce solutions or small business solutions where you can go right down there and take free workshops. Remember, I said again, there were not these things way back in the day. We have so many resources at our hands right now. So yes, I look on YouTube to learn how to apply lashes because I'm sorry, again, I'm just so like taken aback by that price that they have here in Texas. Like it really trips me out. But I say each his own. I just don't prefer to spend that type of money consistently on eyelashes when I could be doing so much more things, so many more things in my business or just with myself, period, or saving, So it is okay if you get advice, if you seek the help that you need to get your life back on track. I wish I had someone to tell me these things. I wish I had somebody behind me saying, hey, this is what you need to do. Because I didn't have that. Most of the time I had people telling me where I went wrong, and that's what we do. We hear so many people tell us how we did wrong, what we did wrong, how bad it is, but they never take the time out to say, but let me help you. Because see, they don't want to be responsible for helping you get to where you need to go because in their minds, they are enabling you. They don't realize it's helping you, giving you a stepping stone. So this is why it's okay to ask people who are not family members, who are not, friends. If you need the help from somebody, go ask outside of these people. Don't be ashamed. We have all fallen off track. We all need to get back on. Don't lose yourself trying to find a way out because you're embarrassed or your pride is getting to you. Get your life back on track. Do something different this week. Do something different. And now you have 5 ways you can do that. These are some tips that will help you get your life back on track and go from there. I know it's easier said than done, especially for those of us who suffer from mental health issues. You know, we in our brains is telling us that we can't get back on track. We can't get back where we need to be. You know, that's what our brains are telling us. But all of that stuff is just a bunch of lies. Those are just a bunch of lies that we've had built up in our heads because of the depression. Don't believe it. Do not believe it. You can still get your life back on track. You can still do something different. You can start over again. It's just that simple. As long as you have breath in your body, as long as you are getting up every single morning and your feet hits that ground, you can start again and you can get your life back on track. All right. That is it. That is it for day 2. That is it. That is it. I will see you all back here tomorrow around the same time. And in my Facebook group, I will. Well, I guess I'll put it in Instagram as well. I'll put the 5 steps you need to take to get your life back on track. I'll put those in a post in just a few, so that you can do these things. These are the action steps that you probably need to take if you're going to do something different. Okay, if you're going to do something different, these are some of the steps you can take right now to get your life back on track. All right, so have a good rest of the night. I will see you all back here, same time, different topic. All right, have a good rest of the day. Bye.